You're watching Weekend Sports Kickoff, brought to you by X106 and KNWT Channel 8. Weekend Sports Kickoff is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to it, the Weekend Sports Kickoff right here on X106 and now streaming live on KNWT Channel 8. Creighton Elwood, Devin Albertson, Sean Nino, and Trevor Mater. Big thank you to our TV crew, Tim Hanna, Joseph Andrews, and Perry Randall for getting this started for us. We are underway and live streaming here on KNWT. So, boys, let's get to it. It's another good week to be a Bearcat. The Bearcat basketball team has been underway, 20-0 for the men. The women getting their second win in a row over a big team. And really, let's just jump into it. What did you guys think of the games last night?
I think anytime you can get a win and improve at 20-0, that's definitely a plus. So a good road win for the Bearcats, although it sounds like Lincoln had at least one guy kind of have a pretty good night.
I think his name was Anthony Verdure. He had 50 other 75. Mm-hmm. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's really if you're getting that amount of points really against this Bearcat defense, that's always impressive.
And he fouled out. He didn't play the full
game. He didn't even play the full game.
I think maybe they should have ran a 5-on-1 defense just about, because it looks like that was really about all they had going for them. When you score 2/3 of your team's points, that's a little bit of a problem. I mean, if they have, I think Sean pointed this out last night, they didn't have anybody else with more than, was it 5 points?
They had someone finish, I think, at 7 last night. But, like, when I tweeted that out, he still had 40 points. There were, 6 minutes left in the game. And after the game, I thought that if they would have had one more person be able to score, not quite like that, because,
right.
Scoring 50 of the 75.
If you have one guy go off for even 15 points, then you look. I'm looking at their box score right now, and it's just crazy. Vandor 50 points, then you had Jalen Smith 7, Maurice Mason 5, Tacoris Maddox 5, and Richie Lewis 4. So, I mean, they had nothing going. He was 18 of 28 from the field. That's pretty darn good.
That was a big thing. He was so efficient when he shot there, and he also 6 of 8 from the three-point line. I think the Bearcats, what they really did for this game was, if this kid's going to beat it by himself, let him do that. He's going to get no help from his other supporting cast. We're just going to make him beat us, and he just couldn't do it because Northwest is too multifaceted with the offense. Justin Pitts, 20 points. Xavier Kerr, 15, 12 from Doherty, 10 more from Woods. I mean, Zach Snyder didn't even score last night. They still put up 80 points.
Yeah, and it was really great shooting from Zach Snyder from outside the arc, 7 for 11, 64% from behind three-point land.
That was last Saturday.
It was last Saturday.
That was versus Western.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Bearcat Sports.com got me on it again.
The one thing that I like about looking at this box score is you have guys in Kurth and Doherty that aren't really what you would call scorers. I mean, Doherty's more of your big that's going to get rebounds and play solid defense, and then Kurth comes off the bench when Pitts needs a breather most of the time and is effective. But when those guys can both go for double digits, you know you're having a good night, even if a guy like Schneider doesn't score.
Well, Doherty, I think, has the ability to. They just don't go to the post a whole lot. But if he has a mismatch down low, he has great footwork down the post. He can definitely take guys off the dribble down there and use his post-up moves with good footwork. So 12 points on 8 shots for Doherty is really efficient for him. That's what they need him to be down low, is just efficient.
Absolutely.
And Justin Pitts had 7 assists, so 20 points, 7 assists. I mean, he just set the offense up really well. The Bearcats did have 16 turnovers last night, which is a really high for the men's team there, but they came away with a 5-point win after being down 1 at halftime. A game last year they lost on the road to Lincoln. Mm-hmm. They lost to Lindenwood, too. They play on Saturday, so interesting to see if the revenge tour can be completed on Saturday.
Yeah, not to mention they'll see Lincoln and Lindenwood again to really round out the regular season here at home. It'll be senior day. I believe Lindenwood is the last game.
It's one of the two.
It's one of the two. Either way, it's going to come down to those two teams again, and then down to Kansas City for the MIAA tournament, and then more than likely the men will be hosting the regional tournament here at home.
And they've already clinched a spot in the tournament, 12-0 in the conference, and they have a 4-game lead over Kearney, UCM, and UCO with 7 games to go. So they've almost locked up the number 1 seed already.
They'll lock it up here in about a week or so, won't they?
Yeah, they could definitely do that in a week or so, depending on how the other teams do. And the Bearcats keep on their winning ways. So the Bearcats could go with 2 weeks left in the season, already have the 1 seed in the conference locked up and just fighting for the 1 seed in the region. That's all they're fighting for after that. Mm-hmm. So definitely 20-0 is a great start to the season. I know I saw Devontae Mosby tweet out last night 20-0 and still rolling. So it's always interesting to see how the guys react to that. And big win against Lincoln. Got to beat Lindenwood on Saturday to keep it going.
So where do the Bearcats really improve to put this game away early and not have it come down to a 5-point game? Is it locking down the one defender that decides to score on them at willy-nilly, like whenever they want?
I don't know what you do with something like that. I think it's just an anomaly where they just let him go.
Case-by-case basis, yeah.
I think it's kind of like last year when they played Lindenwood and that Erickson kid just went off against Northwest, but no one else did. They can do that versus teams. If they know a guy's getting hot, they'll just let him go, and that's it. No one else on the team scores, just that one guy, and see if they can beat you 1-on-5. Most teams can't do that. I think it's good for the Bearcats to have these close games to grind out wins because they're going to need that later on in the season versus better opponents. I think this is a good character builder for later in the season. Let's
move on to the women's game, who was before that, a 10-point win for Northwest Missouri State. Their third win in the MIAA, now 3-9 in conference play, 8-11 overall, and they won it 70-60 over Lincoln down in Jefferson City. Big game from Tanya Meyer, 34 points. Maria Detlinger adding in 10 of her own, and Jasmine Howe, 3 made field goals for 9 total points for her. Big game for the women and a huge win, really, if they want to try to get into the MIAA conference tournament action.
And they're sitting on tied 11th right now with Kearney. And you said Tanya Meyer, 34 points, also 11 rebounds, and only 26 minutes of action. So she was really efficient in her time on the court. So I think the girls is a big conference booster. Lincoln is not a very good team. Right now they're sitting last in the conference. This is when they need to have against Lincoln. And they were down at halftime by 3. They came out and outscored them 38-25 in the second half. So good job by her. And as you said, Detlinger had 10 points to go along with 13 rebounds. Jasmine Howe had 9 points and 10 rebounds. They won the rebounding battle. They still had 21 turnovers, which is kind of a thing that you want to keep down. But they held Lincoln to, I think it was 29% shooting from the field. So if you can do that on defense, it really helps your offense out. Not have to force the issue more on offense. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is coming up for both teams. Obviously, it's Lindenwood to round out this 3-game road trip from St. Joe to Jefferson City, now to St. Charles, Missouri. Really gone all over the state of Missouri, and now they're over in Lindenwood near St. Louis area, really in St. Louis. It's a 3:30 tip-off, and you'll be able to hear it on KXCV KRNW for the Bearcat Radio Network. But
it's a big game because Lindenwood is 4-9 in conference, so if the Bearcats beat them, they could jump them in the conference stand and get more cushion between them and that 13 seed, which you don't want to be. A big goal for the girls this year was to make the tournament and make a step from last year. They already have more wins than last year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep working their way into the tournament and maybe secure it because they got Lindenwood and Lincoln to end the year at home like the guys do. So that could be a spot where they could clinch a tournament bid that weekend at home for the Bearcat Nation.
Right now, February 3rd, we are less than a month away from MIAA tournament action down in Kansas City. 2 more stretches at home, 4 total home games, 2 more games on the road after this Saturday, and then March 2nd through the 5th. We'll be expecting all the Bearcat fans to be down in Kansas City supporting on the Northwest team, who's had such a great season so far. Men's, they've been dominant all year. Women, they've really picked it up the second half of the season, and they're starting to click, and it's just really good time to be a Bearcat basketball fan.
And we got Pink Zone next Wednesday. So
that too.
A lot of things
Emporia
happening here.
State, breast cancer awareness next
Sean
Wednesday.
and I will have the call if you can't be there.
Yep.
So a lot of good things happening. Game starts at 5:30. We'll have pregame before that. So 5:30 for girls, 7:30 for the guys game next Wednesday versus Emporia State.
Let's move on to Bearcat baseball starting action today. They're down in Alva, Oklahoma, taking on Fort Hays State Friday today and Northwest Oklahoma tomorrow and Sunday. All the games this weekend, non-conference action, but they do return a couple starters, which should be good for the Bearcats.
Yeah, right now they're up 4-2 in the top of the 9th versus Fort Hays State. 2 outs, so Northwest in really good shape. Right now, Anthony Canapeel was the starter today for the Bearcats. He went 6 1/3 with 12 strikeouts, only allowing 1 run, so he's definitely their ace right now, and he's just I know him personally. He's a really good guy and just a really great pitcher. Throws fire. He was throwing fire earlier today. So
Canapeel, Nico Pablo, Kevin Hanslick, and Ozzie Adams all returning all MIAA performers. So those are big names for the Bearcat
Pablo
baseball
has 2
team.
outs here in the 9th inning to try to close it out. He's the reliever this year. He already has 1 strikeout. So it should be interesting to see only 1 more out away for the Bearcats securing their first win of the year.
You're watching Weekend Sports Kickoff, brought to you by X106 and KNWT Channel 8. Weekend Sports Kickoff is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Back on the Weekend Sports Kickoff here on X106, as well as streaming live on KNWT Channel 8. Not to mention, also on Facebook Live. Check out KNWT 8 as well as X106 on Facebook. Ask us questions, participate live. You know how the drill goes. And don't forget to check out our Twitter at KNWT 8 as well as at X106 Sports. Big thanks to our producer, Tim Hanna, as well as his assistants, Joseph Andrews, Perry Randall, Creighton Elwood, Devin Albertson, Sean Nino, Trevor Mater here on X106 talking NFL. Super Bowl 51 this weekend, this Sunday, happens in Houston, Texas on Fox at 5:30. Patriots favored by 3. The over-under at 59, and ESPN's Football Power Index has a 55% chance, or 55% favorite leaning towards the Pats. So the biggest question I really have with the Patriots is Tom Brady going to show up or not? Are you going to get the Tom Brady at Houston or versus Houston on January 15th, or the Tom Brady at Pittsburgh or hosting Pittsburgh on January 22nd? The AFC Championship, the semifinal. That's the biggest question for me. Is Tom Brady going to show up?
Man, I really hope not, because I don't really want to see him get a 5th ring. Being a Kansas City fan, I would just die to actually go to a Super Bowl, let alone go to 7, you know. But what they've done there is astonishing, because
A little infuriating.
yeah, well, because
it's a lot infuriating. I think. I'm not real worried about whether or not Tom Brady is gonna show up. I think it's Tom Brady. I'm sure that won't be an issue. But then again, people said something about Peyton Manning a couple years ago, and Peyton Manning didn't show up. So I don't know. It's an interesting matchup to say the least, because Atlanta has a very explosive offense and the number 1 scoring offense, and New England has the number 1 scoring defense. But you look at some of the teams they've played, and it kind of questions the validity of their number 1 defense ranking. So yeah, it's a very interesting matchup. But then on the flip side, New England has Tom Brady and then a bunch of guys that probably have about the athletic capability of us.
That's okay. I keep saying that, but Chris Hogan's a good athlete.
Yeah,
Edelman's a good athlete.
Yeah, it's
they're
an
good
over-exaggeration.
players, they're just white and not star names. That's the only difference it is.
Yeah, and they were undrafted or low draft picks, but Atlanta's defense has been playing beyond. They've been exceeding expectations, really. Yeah. You look at the earlier part in the season, I remember Sean and I having this conversation. That Atlanta defense was pretty darn bad.
They got beat by the Chiefs, so yeah. The Chiefs
that was really on 2 plays, though. I mean, the Chiefs' victory over Atlanta is kind of
But they were having games.
Punt. Come on.
Yeah, the fake punt.
But they were having games earlier in the year where, and granted, they were giving up a lot of points to good offenses, but they were giving up 35, 38 points. So, but they played a lot better. You know, and they have speed. You know, Vic Beasley's not a big pass rusher, but he's quick and he's
led the league in sacks along with forced fumbles. I don't know the number on that, but that's just impressive for a guy that's not your prototypical edge rusher to be able to lead the league in sacks.
He's kind of like your hybrid D-end linebacker almost. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, Vic Beasley's a big part of this game, as well as 36-year-old Dwight Freeney at the other side. Getting the pass rush. And Dwight Freeney does a good job of getting to the edge, but also that little spin move back inside where the Patriots tackles to keep the guys out of the middle, keep people off Tom Brady. I think they can make some noise this game, especially Dwight Freeney. I know he's old, but it could be his last game. He's going to be playing his heart out for this last game and try to get that championship.
I would say
I think they get enough pressure. I think it's going to be an interesting game here. I like the Falcons' offense a lot versus the Patriots' defense. I think they match up well. Put the running backs on the linebackers. They might try to take away Julio Jones and Sanu, but I don't think they take away the running backs from Atlanta. I think Atlanta can definitely move the ball on this team.
Look at Dwight Freeney. He's in his 14th season. Like he's old. He's there with Vic Beasley, and let's not forget about Tyson Jackson. Played for the Chiefs.
I want to bring up that.
Defensive end.
I'm so mad at that.
Why?
Because as a Chiefs fan,
what did Tyson Jackson do in Kansas?
Stop the run.
Nothing, but to stop the run.
He did stop the run along with
a few sacks.
Glenn Dorsey, but
sprinkling a few sacks in there.
He has as many sacks as Vic Beasley and Dwight Freeney in the postseason. I mean, he has 1, and either way, that's all. I mean, the postseason's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
But back to my original question, Tom Brady. What are you going to get? The Houston Tom Brady, the Pittsburgh Tom Brady?
Let's just get pretty good Tom Brady.
Unfortunately, let's look at the stats. Come on, let's look at the stats. It's 18-38, completed 47%, 287 yards.
Was that against Houston?
2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 68 QBR against Houston. Against Pittsburgh, wow, 32 for 42, 76%, 384 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. and 127 QBR rating.
I will take either one of those Tom Brady's because it's still Tom Brady.
Tom Brady has not thrown an interception against a Mike Tomlin-led Steelers team. So that might be just a thing where when he plays against the Pittsburgh Steelers, that they just can't do anything against him.
The Steelers are dumb for something. Let's play the same defense like, hey, we're running cover 2. Guess where the open zone is? Over the middle every time. We're in cover 3. That's open. Brady's going to tear that apart every time. The one thing I worry about Atlanta, they're young in the secondary for 3 of the 4 positions. So it's interesting to see if they get miscommunication. New England will kill them with that. They got to be on their cues every single play and not get tricked by Tom Brady, which is going to be a tough thing to do. So I think you get a Tom Brady between the two. It's still going to be good. I think he's going to throw for about 310, a couple touchdowns. He might have a pick, though, if he makes a mistake. Keanu O'Neal or something like that gets an interception.
Brady normally has I can't think of a Super Bowl game that he hasn't had a pick in, unless we go way back. I know he had one in the Seahawks game. It almost cost him the game. And then
Should have cost him the game.
And then he had one, and I know he had one in the second Giants Super Bowl. Maybe he didn't have one in the first Giants Super Bowl. So Brady's probably going to make a mistake or something weird will happen. But the Falcons, then what you got to do is you got to capitalize on that. And if you're the Falcons, I think you kind of have to go into it maybe not planning on, but kind of anticipating that they're going to try to take Julio Jones out of the game. I mean, what the Patriots do best is take away what you do best.
Yeah.
I mean, Julio Jones, I made a wager with X106's Evan Browner this week. I wouldn't be surprised if Julio Jones has less than 50 yards.
I think he
don't
has
see
more.
that happening.
But where Atlanta can benefit from that, though, is then you get a guy like Taylor Gabriel or their 2 backs. That doesn't mean they won't go off for a great game. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being crazy there, but I'm just not quite sold on Atlanta.
Let's break it down to Tom Brady throwing 1 touchdown out of 5 in the playoffs, and all of them coming from outside the red zone. 4 out of his 5 have come from inside 20 yards. The one outside for 34 yards. He has yet to have a dominant pass. Yeah, for the Chris Hogan pass.
I could have thrown that. If I could get the guy out there, I could have thrown that because he was wide open. There was no within 20 yards of him because it was blown coverage.
They get down into the red zone, and they score from in there. That's where Tom Brady turns it on at. I mean, he has big passes, but none of them go for big touchdowns. They just get big play after big play after big play.
I think he's capable of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the problem is actually doing it and being capable of it are 2 different things. The Atlanta defense, 4 takeaways in the playoffs this year. 0 giveaways. They don't turn the ball over. They have had a couple fumbles here and there, but they always jump back on it. Patriots, 3 giveaways, 2 of which coming from Brady. So are you going to get that Tom Brady who's going to give the ball away, give the Falcons the chance to win? I think whoever defense gets the edge first is probably going to have a big advantage in this game.
I think Atlanta gets the ball first and goes down and score a touchdown, put pressure on New England early, and try to get ahead. I think that's what's going to try to happen here for Atlanta. 'Cause I think if they get ahead New England, they can do this. They take things on their own terms. They get behind, playing catch up versus New England is tough to do. So I think that's a big key for Atlanta, is get up early so they can control the pace of the game.
Well, one thing that I was listening to Mike and Mike on the way down here this morning, and they brought up a very interesting point or idea. If New England wins the coin toss to start the game, what do you do if you're Belichick? Do you put Atlanta on the field first? I mean, you got to think about Matt Ryan's never been in a Super Bowl before.
No.
And you can say it's just another game. I've never played a Super Bowl before, so I can't tell you. But even Eli Manning has said, I heard him on Mike and Mike as well, that even the second or third time out there, you still get that feeling and you're a little shaky. So do you maybe try to get Ryan out there and hope he makes a rookie mistake? Or
he's the offensive player of the year for a reason.
Cam Newton was last year too.
He leads the #1 offense in the league.
So did Cam Newton.
357
but
yards.
Cam was playing his legendary defense.
And Cam Newton had a really good defense behind that too. And another thing with Carolina, Cam Newton wasn't a great passer last year either. He was great. He was good in the passing game. He was really good in the running game. Matt Ryan is one of the best pure passers in the league right now this season. I mean, he threw for 4,900 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So I think Matt Ryan's definitely a better passer. I think Matt Ryan's going to be able to make some plays, and he has so many more options than Cam Newton had last year on offense. This team's a lot like the greatest show on turf Rams in their heyday. And I think Atlanta is going to be able to exploit stuff that the Rams didn't. Because I was hearing stuff all this week. The Rams got away a little bit, tried to get too cute versus New England in that Super Bowl back in 2001, and tried to throw the ball too much instead of give the ball to Marshall Faulk for some reason. They didn't do that. That's crazy why they didn't do that. Probably because their practices were filmed. But whatever. Good job, New England. Cheaters.
And the way that New England countered with that, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the same on Sunday, is they shortened the game. That's an historic way to go. Anytime you have an offense with that capability, you want to shorten the game. You go way back to Super Bowl 25 in 1990. The Buffalo Bills come in. They have the K-gun offense, no huddle, up-tempo, Thurman Thomas, league MVP. The Giants, a ground and pound with a backup quarterback, Bill Parcells knew the longer he kept them off the field, the better it was for the Giants. And one thing that the Bills did in that they didn't take advantage of is they were trying too hard on their run game, and the Giants were putting 6, 7, 8 in the box at one point. If they would have just started throwing, they could have got it. So it'll be interesting to see if they start taking away the passing game. Atlanta's still got 2 really good running backs in Freeman and Tevin Coleman. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I'm not like super excited about it, but at the same time, these are both teams that have been involved in cheating scandals in the last.
Kind of. I mean, putting a noise to the stadium.
Yeah, that's still bad.
I mean,
they also cooperated and just took their fine instead of trying to be sneaky
destroying
and
a
sleazy.
Yeah. Do you guys know who the defensive coordinator was for the Seahawks 2 years ago?
Dan Quinn, head coach of the Falcons.
Let me finish my sentence.
Sorry, bro.
On the Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line, Super Bowl.
Just run the ball.
Do you think that Dan Quinn has a little bit of a edge coming into this game, knowing that he's been here before with this kind of defense?
Because he also worked under Eric Mangini for the Jets, who's part of the Belichick tree. So I think he has parts of both Belichick and Pete Carroll in his system. I think he uses it well to try to manipulate a little bit and know how Belichick kind of works a little bit. So I think that's an advantage for Atlanta that maybe their players haven't been experienced in the Super Bowl, but he does, and the rest of the coaching staff does. So I think they'll be fine and ready to go for this game. And I don't think you'll see any effects of that early on.
I think he does, but I think he doesn't. I think he does kind of in the way that Devin said, but also Bill Belichick's great at throwing things at you that you haven't seen before. So I don't really know. I don't think it's going to come down to, we've had Super Bowls in the past where you can just tell that one team was totally out-coached. I don't think that'll be an issue Sunday at all. I mean, I think the better team will probably win regardless of who that is.
Well, Atlanta has 4 rookies, the 7th total defense in allowing points. They have press coverage, man-to-man on the outside at the corners, as well as usually a single high safety or a cover 3 in zone and the 4-man front. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots run the ball down their throat. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in an extra tight end, extra lineman, and make the Falcons adjust just because why not? That's the Seahawks is built. The Seahawks defense is built around just like how the Atlanta Falcons defense is built. Stop the pass first, worry about the run last. And if you run the ball down their throats, they're going to have to adjust one way or the other, just like the Steelers did to the Chiefs, and we'll see what the outcome is. I really don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty accurate. I like, is it Keanu Neal? Is he a rookie or second year?
Yeah, he's a rookie. Youngest player on the roster.
Yeah, and I really think he's played really well, and I'm going to be intrigued come Sunday night.
Yeah, me too.
This is, to me, you have Tom Brady, who's already cemented himself as, if not the greatest, he's definitely up there.
He will be after this game if he goes off. He's the most accomplished.
Exactly. This is a chance for Brady to put himself in a rare era. How many guys have won 5 Super Bowls?
None.
Oh, there's one other guy.
Charles
Haley, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
First quarterback.
He'd be the first quarterback to win 5 Super Bowls. Bill Belichick will be the first coach to win 5 Super Bowls.
He's in his 10th Super Bowl. Did you know that?
Yeah, between an assistant and a head coach. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I think I read a stat. He's been a part of like 18 or 19% of the Super Bowls, whatever 10 divided by 51 is. I obviously wasn't a good math student.
A little bit less.
A little less than 20%, probably 19.
You guys want to make score predictions for this?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Let's get to our final thoughts here on Super Bowl 51. Again,
Well, MVP predictions.
We can do that with
I
your
like that
score
idea.
and then MVP.
Yeah, okay. Again, Houston, Texas, Fox at Sunday at 5:30, and Patriots favored by 3, over/under at 59. ESPN Football Power Index has a 55% chance and favorite for the Patriots. John, who do you got and why?
Okay, well, if this goes over the over-under, then I think the Falcons are going to win.
What was the over-under?
It was 56.
59.
59.
59.
59. So if the total score is over 59, then I think the Falcons win, because I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to keep up with that if they're just going up and down the field.
If it's a shootout.
Yeah. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I really, really hope the Falcons win, but I'm going to pick the Patriots. I picked the Falcons, so I'm going to pick the Falcons. I got to remember all our pick'ems and all that. I'm going to go 35-27.
All right, I like where you're going there. New England's a 3-point favorite. I have the Falcons by 3. I think it's hit right on the over-under. Atlanta 31, New England 28. My MVP will be Matt Ryan, throwing 3 touchdown passes, no picks, about 350 yards. I think he's going to make enough plays to win this game. Matt Ryan, rise up Falcons. Let's go.
I guess I should give my MVP pick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess it's going to have to be Ryan because he's going to have to really come out and
Play well for them to win.
play well because, I mean, if Julio Jones goes off, it's probably because Ryan had a good game. But if there's any other player for the Falcons that it would be, it's probably going to be Julio Jones if he just goes off for like 200 yards.
I originally, early on in the weekend, I've been vocal about this. I thought maybe New England could blow it out, but for sake of not being embarrassed on next Friday if it doesn't happen, and just because I want to see a real game, I still
Have
think,
the courage of your convictions.
I still think New England wins. I think it's a close game. I'm going to go 24-20, I think. And Tom Brady's going to be the MVP because if they win the game and he doesn't look like absolute garbage, he's going to. But the guy that I think you'll probably look back at the end of the game and say should have got it will be LeGarrette Blount. He's a bruiser.
Yeah.
He could probably be the difference maker in this game. So 24-20, Tom Brady MVP.
I'd see LeGarrette Blount having 2 touchdowns, honestly, from inside 10 yards. I mean, that's all you got to do.
He might even bust off for a big run, too. I mean, it's tough to say. He's a bruiser. He's been well-traveled, and he's comes to New England, and he's found new life.
Tim Hanna, our producer, also picking the Patriots along with Trevor.
Good job, Tim.
Yeah,
We're the
we'll
most
see.
hated people on set right now.
No, you're not hated. You're just a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
going
more
with
logical, I'd say.
I'm conflicted because I'm going to be rooting
Yeah.
for Atlanta, but at the same time, knowing that I've wagered on New England, it's kind of like,
All right, I'm in it for the commercials. That's it. I don't even want to watch the football game. Every time the football game's on, I'm going to change the channel until the
I'm
commercials
sure.
come back.
I heard Mitch Holtis the other day on A10 saying that he wasn't going to watch the game.
Yeah,
So
really.
Chiefs aren't in it. Why watch it?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, bottom line is, like most games in the NFL, I think it's going to come down to the ever-deadly turnover ratio. Whoever's going to have either a special teams or a defensive touchdown to win the battle of field position is going to win the game. I think it's going to be a shootout, honestly, and I have the Falcons winning 48-35 in a shootout.
My goodness, that is my
Wait,
type
what
of
did
game
you
right there.
say?
There's no defense.
48-35.
48-35. Matt Ryan has 4 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown as a team, and a punt return for a touchdown.
Matt Ryan has a punt return?
No,
Or-
Matt
okay.
Ryan had 4. And
Hey.
I think Matt Ryan the
full punt
MVP.
returns, even better.
All right.
48-35.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement right
I
there.
really hope you're right.
And by the way, since you all kind of see us on Facebook Live, check us out at KNWT on Facebook. We're all wearing jerseys. I got
right.
my LeBron James, a king, on. Sean, who you got?
I have Joel Embiid, so as you can tell, I am trusting the process on this Friday.
Trevor.
I stole Devin's Dougie McBucket's jersey.
That's right.
I only have one jersey at the moment, but I guarantee by the next time we do Jersey Day, I will have more.
Good.
So it's going to
I'm
be in
also-
by next Friday?
We're doing next Friday?
I don't
don't know.
expect it.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it.
I'm also wearing the GOAT, the real GOAT, the Michael Jordan MVP Chicago GOAT jersey. And it's Jersey Day here, so we'll be rotating jerseys through every segment on the show. Got all of them in, and it should be a fun time.
I have the real goat.
That's right, Doug McDermott.
McBuckets.
Go Blue Jays, right?
This will wrap it up for the NFL Super Bowl segment on the Weekend Sports Kickoff. Make sure to stay tuned as we are talking NBA and everything that's going down with the Cavs, Bulls, Melo, Wizards, 76ers. It's all coming up right here on the Weekend Sports Kickoff. Make sure to stay tuned as we're live on Facebook, KNWT, and X106. This is the Weekend Sports Kickoff.
Let's begin now.
You're watching Weekend Sports Kickoff, brought to you by X106 and KNWT Channel 8. Weekend Sports Kickoff is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Continuing on the Weekend Sports Kickoff here this beautiful Friday, February 3rd. Creighton Elwood, Devin Albertson, Sean Nino, and Trevor Mater right here on X106. Make sure to check out the live stream on Facebook at KNWT8, as well as at X106_sports on Twitter, as well as at KNWT8 on Twitter, as well as all of our personal Twitters, to make sure to get that link and see our beautiful shining faces on this Friday.
I wouldn't say the word beautiful.
No,
it's a face.
My girlfriend actually just texted me. She's watching the stream, and she said, "You're ugly." So she wanted to comment that, but
it's the opposite of what I was going for there is ugly.
Thanks,
but
Creighton.
Let's jump right into NBA action. The Cleveland Cavaliers struggling a little bit atop of the AL. Good Lord. Not excited for baseball season, apparently. Top of the East at first, and they actually had some open tryouts. They brought in some veteran players to see who they could sign, who could come in and add that extra spark. They brought in Mario Chalmers, Kirk Heinrich, Jordan Farmer, and Lance Stevenson. They all worked out Wednesday afternoon.
They said Farmer was the best one there.
Really?
That makes sense. Kirk Heinrich's really old, so...
Well, playmaker, not a guy on a stretcher.
Yeah, he's what, like 30? I wouldn't sign Kirk Heinrich because he's what, like 37?
Old.
Well, let's look at all these options. Mario Chalmers, LeBron played with him for 4
Coming
years.
off an injury right now. So.
ACL. And
it was Achilles.
Achilles, that's right. And he played with LeBron in Miami for about 4 years, won a championship or two here or there. And then he hasn't really been doing anything. Kirk Heinrich, formerly with the Bulls, played against LeBron when he was at Cleveland the first time, Cleveland the second time, and Miami. Jordan Farmer, not really any connection with LeBron or anybody on the Cavs.
Then Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson, of course, the old blow-in-the-ear guy from the Pacers. And he was at the Pelicans, I believe. He's down in New Orleans.
He was in Charlotte for a little bit.
Yeah, Charlotte, and then moved around to between those two
franchises.
franchises.
I think Lance Stevenson actually might be the best guy. I know him and LeBron had like a little beef there, but I think Lance Stevenson could create a little bit of offense, not a whole lot of pressure. Like in Charlotte, he was expected to carry a lot of the offensive load. He won't be asked for that in Cleveland. It'll be, hey, come in and give us 5 minutes of just offense, you attacking the rim and playing good defense. That's what they need out of that backup position. I know he's not a point guard, but he could play a little bit of point guard if they needed him to. So I think he might be the best talent there, but I could see them wanting to bring in a Jordan Farmer or Mario Chalmers just to run the offense. And they have an extra roster spot, especially when they cut Chris Anderson after that tearing his ACL for a roster exemption. So
I got to say, for the Cavs, I'm not even a Cavaliers fan. I consider myself a Bulls fan, but good for them. They need the veteran playmaker on their team because aside from LeBron, aside from Kyrie, who do you got? You don't have anybody.
Love, kind of, but he's not really a playmaker.
But aside from him, where's JR been this season?
Who is that first guy you said they had?
LeBron James.
Yeah, see,
that's all you need.
It's like Tom Brady.
Is
like
it?
Yeah, like you have LeBron James. You're at the very least, the Cavs are probably going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
At the very least, they're going to make it all that way.
Probably make it to the NBA Finals. This will be LeBron's 8th in a row, 7th. 7th because they lost the Mavs 1-2, lost the Spurs, then he went back and won one, lost one. So yeah, I mean LeBron James. A lot of people got kind of upset with some of the, mainly Charles Barkley, with some of the stuff that.
I get over it.
Yeah, because Charles Barkley never did anything bad in his career.
Charles Barkley. That's the difference, though. LeBron tries to be the poster child. He is the poster child of the NBA. You have to do everything perfectly. You have to be the spokesperson. You have to do everything right.
In the social media world.
Do you know what Charles Barkley did?
Threw a guy through a window.
He's not a role model.
Said he wasn't a role model.
He said he wasn't a role model. If you say you're not a role model,
shut up.
Don't act like you can follow them. He can do whatever he wants. He's a professional player doing what he has to do to play basketball and
but if
make
you're not,
money.
But if you're not going to act like a role model, then don't criticize other people that are.
That's his job. He's paid to bring.
Yeah.
I'm like in between here. I'm a LeBron fan, but I wouldn't Charles Barkley's comments. Like, yes, LeBron can be a bit whiny at times. He can want a little much, but you know what? Also in the social media world, LeBron's been in the microscope since he was 16 years old. He's been half his life. He's been under the microscope, and he hadn't slipped up to anything wrong. I think he right now.
Well,
like
he's done some questionable.
Okay, his biggest wrong thing was having a national television show, leaving and donating $2.5 million to a charity.
Yeah.
That's his biggest wrong thing he's ever done. Sorry.
Yeah, honestly,
not even that, but just leaving his hometown. He said he was gonna,
and then coming back 4 years later, winning a title. So
it's like bringing back your ex. Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's working for Cleveland. They're making bank.
Yes.
Honestly, though, if you're gonna have a poster child for the NBA, you can take away whatever you feel like them as players, but can you have better people than what you have with LeBron James and like Steph Curry?
Better head-to-head matchup? What do you
Well,
mean
I'm talking
better?
even
like-
people-wise. I mean, Devin, I know you're a big Cavaliers fan, so I'm sure what you think of Steph Curry isn't very nice.
No, I like Steph Curry.
But
I think
you-
Steph
but
Curry's
you-
a great player, but
and
I'm
you
going
look
to
at
LeBron.
and you look at no, I don't think so either. And you look at Steph Curry the person. What is there not talking about Steph Curry
family
the person?
man.
Yeah, he's a good, Christian family man. So I mean, you have great role models from those two in the NBA. So I didn't really have a big problem with what LeBron said.
He got a little personal, but
Yeah, no, the Charles Barkley
way
stuff,
too
I think.
personal.
The
Yeah.
Charles
Yeah.
The Charles Barkley stuff, I think it was too personal, but at the same time, it's not like it's not anything that you or I couldn't Google and find out.
that's what Charles
Right.
Barkley said. Like, he Googled me.
Yeah,
Yeah, just look it up.
I knew all that about Charles Barkley before LeBron said it. So I don't know. I think a lot of it just kind of got blew up, and it wasn't that big of a
Mm-hmm.
deal.
And you know what? This happens like every January, February for LeBron.
Yeah, it
He
does.
creates something,
Why is that?
keeps the league
Got
interesting.
to sell his shoes, right? Got to sell his
His shoes,
jerseys.
first of all, aren't selling that well, anyways. Like, compared to
Oh,
other stuff.
exactly. Got to have the
Okay,
spike in the ratings
I don't
and
think
the,
that's
and the
what-
sales.
I don't think that's what matters. I think LeBron gets bored with the regular season and wants to start something, so they talk about something.
Well,
And I think it's harmless. It's not like you're talking about him having a stripper in Las Vegas or something like that. It's not anything bad. It's, hey, me and Charles Barkley have a beef. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, it's something that gets you through people to talk about. I mean, it happens every year when people just can get the clue, like, hey, he just wants to talk about something during January.
I think, like you said, LeBron is kind of bored, and he's just kind of sitting around.
Waiting until June.
He's like Clemson. He's
Yeah.
just kind of sitting around. They're underachieving kind of at the moment, but they're still playing better than a lot of other teams. But
Yeah.
then don't worry, come May or June.
Oh, look, LeBron's
Yeah,
dropping
I mean,
basically a triple-double.
How many years did we think, that a team like the Raptors or the Hawks were
Never.
probably the best team in the conference? But they didn't have LeBron James.
They
I never
didn't have a
believed that team.
superstar. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously.
Maybe
And there's
all
only
around,
so many.
but-
There's so many handfuls that come that are that kind
Yeah.
of elite.
Yeah.
And did we see the Cavs doing this? And what year was LeBron drafted? 03. And did we see this being such a huge turnout in 03? I wasn't
Not
old enough for it, but
not
nobody saw it
03.
coming, right?
No.
Like you don't
Well,
see. You say that every year with the number one pick.
You saw a lot of people saw the
Potential.
future and the potential in LeBron.
But
I don't
if
think
you
they
say
knew
that
it-
about everybody, then what? At what point?
I
does
don't think
it,
anyone was saying that Anthony Bennett was going to be the next LeBron James.
No.
It's every once in a while you have a guy who comes in, like Ben Simmons was the last
Anthony
one. Like,
Davis?
He's the best we've seen from a high school prospect since LeBron.
Yeah.
Or Jabari Parker was kind of that guy before that. So
Anthony Davis,
every once in a
yeah.
while you have the guys, but it's not like every year. And LeBron, they actually knew was a once in a generational type of talent when he came in. And his first game that he played, and he just was
ridiculous.
ridiculously good.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, this guy is just a 6'8" freak.
There
is
was
what he is.
there was
So-
one miss on that though. Anyone remember Greg Oden?
Oh, well,
Greg
he wasn't a
Oden's
bust.
legs
Injuries.
just stopped working.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he purposely just went
he
out
wasn't
there.
a bust because of his own doing.
I mean, he averaged a double-double when he was healthy.
Yeah,
It just
but,
he was always hurt.
But he was still, by definition, you would
Yeah.
you would
Yeah,
have
I mean,
to
he's
say
a
he's a bust. But it wasn't his doing.
his
Okay.
knees doing.
Well, I guess we
Let's
need to-
move on to the Bulls.
Yeah,
Let's
what about
go
their
to
stuff?
this is an excerpt from the Chicago Sun-Times beat reporter Joe Cowley. This is exactly what he said about Jimmy Butler and the problems they've been having in the locker room. Butler and the other Bulls have had some issues with the spying that goes on in the locker room. He warned new players that if they don't want Foreman, the general manager, to hear criticism, they shouldn't talk in front of certain assistant coaches such as Randy Brown. The belief is that the Bulls love to gather as much ammunition as they can on players so they can win the news conference when the breakup comes, whether it's trade, free agency, doesn't matter. And that's really how they operate. They did it
Wow.
with Luol Deng, did it with Joakim Noah, and they did it with Derrick Rose.
Not
As a
wrong.
fan, this is absolutely sickening. It's disgusting what they do. That's how you treat your players. The Bulls on the court, however, they've been playing good, but Rip Hamilton actually came out today. He used to play for the Bulls, and he said this is the exact same thing. They never understood why assistant coach Randy Brown is even in the locker room. He was hired by
The GM.
the GM just to be an associate, just to talk with players. Like, he never had bad conversations with them. It was always out of love. But he had close ties with Fred Hoiberg, which is also how he got his job and sticks in the locker room. But if you don't want the dirt to go straight up to the top, the guy that's running the team, you can't talk to this coach.
Yeah, I think what the end result is going to be is that whole thing is going to get blown up.
Yeah.
And Fred Hoiberg's going to be gone. Butler's going to be gone. Rondo is trying to get gone. And
Well,
It's Rondo.
they want to make it work, but it's it's the agency that works around them that they don't like.
It was
they don't
poorly
like the
constructed
owners.
roster in the
Right.
first place. I didn't like the roster. They had no shooters.
And that's
But that's
been
the thing. They've been playing
but
well
that's-
these last
but
4 out of
that's
6
been a problem
games.
for the Bulls. You go all the way back to when Michael Jordan retired. Jordan retires.
These are the same owners from the Jordan era.
Phil Jackson retires.
Yeah.
Pippen left for free agency. Rodman left, and they bring in a guy from Iowa State named Tim Floyd to replace Phil Jackson, who is nowhere near the coach that Fred Hoiberg was, and they were practically an expansion team.
Yeah.
And won, I think they went 11-39 in the strike-shortened year. So it's just a mess right now for the Bulls, and I think the only way is to just blow the whole thing up, start
Except
from
for,
scratch.
I think you keep Jimmy Butler because he is your staple in your franchise. He's
I think
guy
you-
averages 25 and he plays great defense. So you got to keep Jimmy Butler.
I think
keep
you
him-
should. I don't know that they will.
They should
They will.
I think they should.
You keep Jimmy Butler because he's under contract for 3 more years.
at a good rate.
And you know who stays? Dwayne Wade, too.
He's like 106 though.
Doesn't matter. If he
I think
doesn't
they
play, he
work
doesn't
well
play.
together.
Yeah, no, I think Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler work well together. The problem is that other guy.
Right.
You know, but Ray John
Rondo doesn't even play anymore. He's putting up. No, the reason they've won 4 out of 6 is because he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, and there's
It's
reasons
too early.
why Rondo is coming off the bench.
It's too early to give up Doug McDermott and Nikolai Mirotic because they're
Bobby
too
Portis,
young.
yeah.
They're all too
Yeah.
young. You got to let them come into it. They've won 2 in a row. They defeated the hot 76ers, and they had an absolutely humbling victory over the potential MVP candidate Russell Westbrook and
By
OKC.
28 points.
Yeah, exactly.
You're watching Weekend Sports Kickoff, brought to you by X106 and KNWT Channel 8. Weekend Sports Kickoff is filmed in front of a live studio audience.